Welcome to your daily focus for February the 9th, 2017. My name is Tilly, and this is Tarot with Tilly. And before we begin, thank you. Thank you truly for all of the loving, positive, supportive energy you send my way every single day. Let's see what the energy is going to be for us today. That was a weird cut. Well, the Devil as our very first card. Well, with this deck in particular, I always think of it as the Devil has us like a puppet on a string. Just tugs at our little fear center every so often, and we stay put. We don't move forward. We don't embrace ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to step into our passions. We don't live for the moment. We live in fear of not being prepared enough in the next moment to come. And it keeps us away from joy and happiness and peace of mind. So today could very well be a day when we realize that once and for all we need to cut one of those strings, or all of them. But one will suffice. Maybe it's a habit you have. Maybe it is an environment that you allow yourself to be a part of. Maybe it's just not believing in yourself enough. The Tower. The Tower sits next to the Devil. We need to break down the old structures in our life, and I think, I see the light in both of these cards. The light stands out for me. So whatever's happening today, even though we have the Devil and the Tower here side by side, and February the 9th, the 9 energy is closure, is endings. It's preparing the way for the new beginnings, though, as well. That is the magic of the number 9. That whatever happens in our life, especially today, we're going to see new ways forward. We're going to see how we can step into a passion or a dream and desire. We are seeing those strings that need to be cut. I'm a little scared. Oh, well, we got the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords, be careful with the Page of Swords, because this is kind of like a knee-jerk energy. I don't really have a diplomat here. It's like when you were a kid and you thought you were right and everybody else was wrong and you were going to do it anyways, and you went ahead and did it, and you ended up with mud on your face because you fell flat down on the ground. But you did brush yourself off and you did learn from it. So be a little careful with this energy, because sometimes we do things just to get a reaction, just to get that conversation going, just to get that action moving forward. And most times we don't think it through enough before we actually make that first move. And I don't want you to come to regret it. So please put a little bit of thought. But the Page of Swords is also that inner child, that burning soul inside of you, that heart center, filled with passion, filled with joy. So with the Devil in the Tower, we definitely have a heavy energy, although it doesn't need to be heavy. I think it will open doors for us. Who fell out? It's upside down too. I'm getting worried at this point. Deception, 72. So 7 plus 2 is a 9. Once again, we've got this 9 energy in the deception. Okay, I'm going to keep that one out and see what card is for us. I don't think this is going to be a long reading, but it's starting to look that way. Oh, and 70. Change and travel. So 7 is the secret of truth. It's also taking a look at ourselves, our inner selves, what brings us passion, what brings us happiness, what brings us joy. And we're having that full moon in Leo, and it is a lunar eclipse. So that's exciting with these kind of cards, actually, because, you know, that is celebrating that inner child. The passions, the dreams, the desires that you keep locked up inside, that you haven't voiced to the world, that you haven't allowed yourself to experience. So what brings out that happiness? What brings out that joy? What change happens? Where do you see the deception in your life? Are you deceiving yourself in some way? Are you the one smoking a cigarette every hour on the hour until you go to sleep at night and then say, but I won't be one of those people that have emphysema or heart problems or cancer? Now, maybe you won't be, but you sure are raising the risks. So where are you deceiving yourself? That you love yourself, that you care for yourself. I don't mean to beat up on the smoker. I was one for 30 odd years. So, and one day you will look in the mirror and you'll just say, I love me. And that's what's really the key in quitting, is loving yourself enough. Wanting the best for yourself, wanting to be healthy, to be able to enjoy those moments that you are creating and stepping into. What story are you telling yourself so that where you are is okay? That you don't want to actually move forward, that you really don't want to experience a new passion or joy or some kind of liberation or freedom in your life. Because the energy today is really asking us to look at that. I mean, the devil in the tower is really demanding our attention. You know, so, you know, you could look at it this way, okay? So we have the lunar eclipse, and then later on we have the solar eclipse, and I believe that's in Pisces. So what we are doing right now is we are preparing the soil. We're removing the rocks, we're removing the debris, we're removing the old dead plants from last year's harvest. We are adding the fertilizer to the soil, and maybe we're putting some sand in there or some peat moss to make it a little bit more aerated, so that our seeds, when we plant them, are going to grow, they're going to mature, they're going to bring in a bountiful harvest. And so we need to look at this full moon as, what do we need to do? What rocks do we need to remove in our life? What debris is there in our lives that's weighing us down, that's not going to allow our seeds to really take hold and be as beautiful as they can be? So this is the time to prepare, to allow things to closure or forgiveness in your life. Because when that new moon comes, when that solar eclipse happens, and we plant those seeds, because eclipse is like steroid kind of energy, it's going to allow us to start fresh, to start anew, to begin again. So maybe you're not quitting smoking today, but you are thinking about how you are going to take steps towards by the time that new moon hits. How you are going to be at the point of, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to put those seeds in the ground, I'm ready to plant them, I'm ready to move forward. Now, it could be a career. It could be, you know, a 3-week course you could take right now. So you have to close off some things in your life that consumed your time, so you have time to take that course so that you are ready. Yes, we are trying to make the plan for going forward, but right now we want to open up the space so that new can come in. We want to cut the strings on where we have felt limited, where we feel that we can't go forward, where we feel that it's out of our hands. Our future, our own steps forward are out of our hands. And take them back and embrace them and say, this is mine. And I'm going to walk through it, and I'm going to be successful. I've got this. We'll see what our wise animals have to say. So, really, I'm not feeling a worry, even though we have the devil, we have the tower, we have the deception. Because we need to understand that we can't have clutter in our life. We have to have simplicity so that the new can come in one area of our life or another. And how are we going to create that? We have the full moon to close the doors, to allow the healings, to allow the endings in our lives, so that we are ready to plant those seeds come the new moon. And it's two very powerful moons. Clarity. The bat. Have we ever had the bat before? Hidden fears, open mind, heart and soul, trust, and passion. You really can't make this stuff up, huh? Clarity of mind means clarity of passion. This is why a great and clear mind loves ardently and sees distinctly what it loves. So many are afraid of bats. They often fly in sporadic fashion, never knowing where they will swoop. Instead of relying on their sight, they use their other senses, the main one being their hearing. If you choose bat, you are being told that the clarity that you seek has to be sought in a different way. Bat offers you the clarity to see around you what may be hidden. Now is the time to look at your life subjectively and see where you can add positive and passionate changes. You might sign up for a class or start a new creative project or finish one you started way back when. Is it possible that you were neglecting communication with those who love you and you weren't aware of it? You may have been acting as a hermit and didn't even realize it. Call your friends, plan on a fun night out. Release your old fears and anxieties. You can write down your fears one by one on a piece of paper. We're back to the journaling again, aren't we? You can write down your fears one by one on a piece of paper. After you complete the task, take the piece of paper and say out loud, I release, and insert that fear. Then either rip up that piece of paper or burn it in a fireproof container, allowing the universe to take care of all that is holding you back. So what a beautiful exercise for a full moon. So we want to release our old fears and anxieties, what we feel holds us back, where we feel that we are not honoring ourselves, not loving ourselves enough, why we are not stepping forward in a certain passion or a love or a desire. Write down your fears one by one on a piece of paper, and after you complete the task, take the paper and say out loud, I release. I release my fear of not being loved. I release my fear of not being smart enough. I release my fear of not loving enough. Too much. Loving too much. That's a big one for a lot of people. They hold back because they don't want to either step all the way into the relationship or let that other person know just how much they would be hurt or they could hurt them. That's a big subconscious fear that I run across. Then rip that piece of paper up, give it to the universe. Burn that piece of paper, give it to the universe. Source, God, your angels, your spirit guides. So I release these fears to you. Please take them away. Please deal with them so that I no longer have to deal with them, that I can move past them, that I can allow closure in my life, that I can allow endings in my life, so that I can plant those new seeds a couple of weeks down the road. So I can start my path forward and be very much like the young energy of the Page of Swords and loving ourselves, our passions, our dreams, and what makes us us. And until we meet again, remember, I do love you.